You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon, welcome back. Today is Wednesday, 12th day of February 2025. Thanks so much for joining us. Wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. The first one is private, reserved for members only, and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you haven't taken your 1-week free trial, when Michael joins us in a bit, he'll walk you through step by step how to take the trial. We'll get your indicators up and running today. Your trial will officially start tomorrow, but not to worry, you will get 5 consecutive trading days, no credit card required. Now, when the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break, come back for this broadcast, the afternoon broadcast, which is open to the public. That's everybody everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways to join the afternoon broadcast live. The best way, you only have to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com, scroll down the page to where it says Noon Broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. Going forward, what will happen, every trading day you'll get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. In the email there's a link, so at 12 noon Eastern, click the link in the email. It'll automatically log you into our platform. The benefit there is you get access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there'll be days you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still want to join live. And some days you'll just be busy, can't join live, but want to catch up later. You can do both of those via our YouTube channel, and it's easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. You already got the YouTube part memorized, so all you got to remember really is just the CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, simulcasting, but we archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,700 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. youtube.com/CFRN. This is our schedule for each afternoon broadcast, so we're going to dive right into our daily devotional. The topic that we're on right now, we're in day 3 of 7, overcoming fear, worry, and anxiety. Today's scripture is Matthew 25, verses 14 through 30, and I'm going to share it with you from the Message translation. It's also like a man going off on an extended trip. He called his servants together and delegated responsibilities. To one he gave $5,000, to another $2,000, to a third $1,000, depending upon their abilities. Then he left. Right off, the first servant went to work and doubled his master's investment. The second did the same, But the man with the single thousand dug a hole and carefully buried his master's money. After a long absence, the master of those 3 servants came back and settled up with them. The one given $5,000 showed him how he had doubled his investment. His master commended him. "Good work. You did your job well. From now on, be my partner." The servant with the 2,000 showed how he also had doubled his master's investment. His master commended him. "Good work. You did your job well. From now on, be my partner." The servant given 1,000 said, "Master, I know you have high standards and hate careless ways, that you demand the best and make no allowance for error. I was afraid I might disappoint you, so I found a good hiding place and secured your money. Here it is, safe and sound, down to the last cent." The master was furious. That's a terrible way to live. It's criminal to live cautiously like that. If you knew I was after the best, why did you do less than the least? The least you could have done would have been to invest the sum with the bankers, where at least I would have gotten a little interest. Take the 2,000, give it to the one who risked the most, and get rid of this play it safe who won't go out on a limb. Throw him out into utter darkness. Now, of course, that's the tale of the talents, and in your King James Version, you read that word talent, and it doesn't mean your ability to sing. Remember, that was from the Message translation. So, obviously, today, day 3 of 7, we're going to talk about the parable of the talents. During his earthly ministry, Jesus told a parable or story about a man who was fearful. In this story, found in Matthew 25:14 through 30, Jesus likened the kingdom of heaven to a man who was about to go on a journey and called his servants to himself, entrusting them with his possessions. The Bible uses the word talents to describe units of money. But for the sake of simplicity, let's change this to dollars. To the one servant he gave 5 grand, to another he gave 2 grand, and another 1 grand, each according to their ability. After the householder left, each of the servants did something different with the money. The ones who received 5,000 and 2,000 both wisely invested their money to make more money. The one who had received 1,000 hid it in the ground. After some time, the master returned from his journey and asked for an accounting. The first 2 had doubled their investment and received rewards for doing so. The last one, however, merely brought back the $1,000 originally entrusted to him by his master. When questioned as to why he hadn't invested the money, the servant said, "Master, I know you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, gathering where you scattered no seed. And I was afraid and went away and hid your talent in the ground. See, you have what is yours." Can you see how the servant's perspective colored his use of his gifts? Look at the words the servant used to describe his master. He said that he was hard and unreasonable. Is it true that our heavenly master is hard and unreasonable? Do you see how this servant's view of God caused him to be afraid and made him hide his talents away. You see, the desire to control people or circumstances. At heart, it's a trust problem. Hopefully, it's not that we don't trust God for our initial salvation. Rather, it's that we don't trust Him to work things out for our good. We think that if we have to do that, well, we just find it almost impossible to let go of those things that are most dear to us: our children, our careers, and our future. Prayer is effective, and God can and does work mightily in response to it. But He usually lets us wrestle with our habitual fears for a season. That's because He wants us to grow to hate them and to desire to be free from them for the right reason: His glory. God is in charge of every part of your life, even your freedom from fear. You can rest in Him and trust that His deliverance will be right on time. So think about this. Do you think there is any likeness between the fearful servant and yourself? If so, what is the similarity? And how does your perspective on the character of God impact your fear? Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank You for the gifts and the opportunities that You have entrusted to us. Help us to be faithful stewards, using our talents wisely for Your glory. Give us courage to step out in faith, not burying what You have given us, but multiplying it for Your kingdom. May we serve with diligence, integrity, and a heart that seeks to honor You, so that one day we may hear, "Well done, good and faithful servant." It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen, and happy Wednesday. Let me give you the numbers from around the world. We'll start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently the Dow is down 165 points. The NASDAQ is up 7. Make that 8. S&P 500 is down 12. The Russell 2000, our man of the street, is down 22 points. That's almost 1%. Now the NASDAQ is up only 4. Now it's unchanged. So I think here in a minute or two, I'll be able to say we got a red day in the US of A. But let's go through the rest of the numbers. Crude oil is down $1.63, trading 71.69 last. That's a drop of almost 2.25%, or $1,600 per contract traded. Gold is down just 80 cents, trading 29.32 last. Silver, on the other hand, is up 43 cents, trading 32.75 last. That's a gain of well over 1.25%. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 162 points. The Shanghai rose 28, and for the Shanghai, that's almost 1%. The Hang Seng gained 563 points. It's over 2 And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 30, the DAX up 110, the CAC up 13. So we had a green day in Asia. It was a green day for the UK. And now the NASDAQ is, it's back and forth at the zero line. We just went red and now we're positive by 2 points. So I think we can kind of see the flow and the fact that the Russell is down almost 1%. I think the rest of the markets, or the one that's in the green, the NASDAQ, 5 points right now, which we know 5 points is not a lot for the NASDAQ by far. So by the time of this broadcast ends, we'll probably be able to say that it is a red Radio Wednesday. But at the moment it's mixed, because the NASDAQ is still hanging on to the green by 5 points. In the news, President Donald Trump met with Jordan's King Abdullah II at the White House yesterday, reiterating his proposal to control and develop the Gaza Strip while relocating 2 million Palestinians to neighboring countries. Though Abdullah dismissed the proposal last week, he offered to receive 2,000 sick Palestinian children in the meeting. An estimated 5,000 children are currently critically ill in the Gaza Strip. Jordan, as well as most Arab states, condemns the idea of resettling more Palestinians in their countries, with Jordanian lawmakers proposing a bill last week banning the policy. Israel's eastern neighbor hosts more Palestinian refugees than any other country, with more than 2 million registered and accounting for 20% of the country's population. The talks come as the 3-week-old ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip faces a potential breakdown. Hamas warned Monday it would pause hostage release due to reported Israeli violations of the ceasefire, prompting Israel to threaten to end the truce this weekend. And yesterday, when President Trump was talking to the King of Jordan, he had made this statement previously, but he doubled down. He said, to quote, "If all the hostages are not released by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I don't know if he meant AM or PM, all hell will break loose." What does that mean? I guess we'll find out on Saturday. Hopefully it won't come to that. Steve Bannon, maybe you haven't heard that name in a while, pleaded guilty yesterday to 1 felony count of fraud in connection with a fundraising campaign that aimed to construct a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. The former advisor of President Donald Trump will avoid prison time and restitution payments in exchange for a 3-year conditional discharge. The initiative, launched in 2018, raised more than $20 million by promising donors 100% of their contributions would fund the construction of the wall. Prosecutors allege Bannon funneled some of the donor money to pay salaries and personal expenses. Bannon maintains that he did not personally profit. He received a federal pardon from Trump in 2021 for similar charges. However, state prosecutors pursued the case independently as presidential pardons do not apply to state crimes. Did you know that? 2 co-defendants have already been convicted and sentenced. Bannon's plea bars him from fundraising or managing charitable organizations in New York State. This marks Bannon's second criminal conviction after serving 4 months in federal prison for contempt of Congress last year. It's amazing how some people, if they don't answer a subpoena, they go to the big house. But other people can ignore subpoenas and think nothing of it. It's an interesting time we find ourselves in. A hotter than expected inflation reading at the start of 2025 makes it much more likely that the Federal Reserve will keep rates on hold for the foreseeable future, reinforcing a cautionary stance from Fed Chair Jerome Powell and other central bank policymakers. Powell said, "I would say we're close but not there on inflation." He spoke before the House yesterday, citing the new reading released earlier in the day. So we want to keep policy restrictive for now. Markets are adjusting their expectations for what the Fed may do this year after the latest data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics showed that the CPI rose more than forecast in January. Traders reduced their prediction of 2025 rate cuts down to just 1, and not until much later in the year. It really does push the timeline into the second half of the year if things go well, according to Claudia Sam, chief economist at New Century Advisors. Now, Trump's got a different take, I guess. Trump today dismissed the higher than expected inflation report as Biden inflation after making another call to lower interest rates. It's going to come down to Trump and Powell having a shootout at high noon at some point. I see it coming. The U.S. president reacted to the release of the data showing headline consumer prices rose more than forecast by posting Biden inflation up on Truth Social. The post came just an hour after another post earlier this morning that read interest rates should be lowered, something which would go hand in hand with upcoming tariffs. "Let's rock and roll, America," the president added in a post that wasn't clear if he was talking about the Federal Reserve's short-term rate, the 10-year Treasury yield, home mortgage rates, auto loans, or all of the above. And it was about halfway in between the two posts that the CPI data came out. From Bloomberg, Meta Platforms made a small change last month that's likely to increase the company's profits by billions of dollars this year. It wasn't the release of a new product or cost cuts. It was a tweak to an accounting formula used to measure the depreciation of its expensive artificial intelligence infrastructure. The change disclosed the social media giant's earnings materials on January 29th, extends the so-called useful life period of certain servers and networking assets to 5.5 years from the 4 to 5 years it previously used. While that may sound trivial, its impact on earnings will be sizable, given the heavy spending on these relatively short-lived assets. By Meta's reckoning, the shift is expected to reduce the company's depreciation expense by $2.9 billion in 2025, which would on its own amount to almost 4% of the estimated pre-tax profits for the year. With Meta planning to spend as much as 75% more this year on capital expenditures to build out its AI capabilities, the effect will be even bigger in 2026. From Reuters, JP Morgan Chase began notifying employees of job cuts last week as part of a series of layoffs that the bank plans to make through 2025. Fewer than 1,000 employees are going to be laid off in February, the report said, adding that the bank is planning to announce additional cuts in mid-March, May, June, August, and September. The spokesperson for the bank did not immediately respond to a Reuters request for comment. The FCC told NBC News parent Comcast it is opening a probe into the company's promotion of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, according to a letter seen by Reuters. The FCC will be taking fresh action to ensure that every entity the FCC regulates complies with the civil rights protections enshrined in the Communications Act, including by shutting down any programs that promote invidious forms of DEI. DEI going bye-bye everywhere you look. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said yesterday that President Trump's calls for lower interest rates won't lead the central bank to change its rate decisions. People can be confident that we'll continue to keep our heads down, do our work, and make our decisions based on what's happening in the economy. Well, most people would like to be confident that you're going to lower interest rates, but obviously that's not on your day plan. Powell indicated during a press conference last month that the Fed, after cutting its key rate 3 times last year, would hold off on further cuts as it waited for evidence that inflation is moving closer to its 2% target. And many Fed officials want to wait and see how Trump's policies, including the tariffs he has proposed and those he has already put in place, affect the economy. Most economists worry that tariffs will at least temporarily push up inflation. And last, BlackRock and the FDIC are trying to resolve a months-long dispute over the asset manager's stakes in U.S. banks, according to people familiar with the matter. Negotiations began before a February 10 deadline for BlackRock to sign a so-called passivity agreement to comply with new oversight of its stakes. The passive label is so important because it lets investors and lenders avoid stringent rules for bank owners. The FDIC wants disclosures on any potential effort by large asset managers to sway banks where they have sizable stakes. Of course, representatives of the FDIC and BlackRock both declined to comment. BlackRock's deadline has already been extended twice, pushing the disagreement into the Trump administration. I'm sure that was by design. The makeup of the regulator's board is now in flux, and it's unclear how much support will remain for stronger scrutiny of asset manager stakes and lenders. There's no new deadline for the firm to comply with the FDIC's demands, but a deal might be reached in the coming weeks, said some of the people who asked not to be identified, discussing private talks. Yep, you always got to take those with a grain of salt. I got something to say, but you can't say who I am. Alright, on the home front. Logic 247. That's our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. Not just E-minis, but also crude, gold, silver. Over the last 341 weeks, we've issued over 18,900 individual handcrafted alerts. And we've averaged on a weekly basis 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure. In a simple process that we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. I didn't put any alerts out Sunday night for reasons previously discussed, so still a light week. We've got a total of 14 alerts when Valerie did the recap this morning at 8:15 a.m. Eastern. A couple of additional alerts have gone out. At the time she did the recap, we were still waiting on the outcome of 6. So, 8 actionable alerts, of which so far nothing has been stopped out, but it's early in the week. We still have the rest of today and all of Thursday and all of Friday, and we got some big news on the horizon both tomorrow and Friday, I do believe. Now, the logic alerts are designed to help you learn how to read the chart. You want to be able to look at any chart in any time frame, and with the use of our humble indicators, instinctively know what the next high probability move is. You want to be able to look at any chart and instinctively see where potential resistance is, where potential support is, and find the windows of opportunity that lie in between those two important inflection points. It's okay to trade them, but don't just trade them. If you're going to use the logic alerts, use them to learn how to read the chart. If your plan is to trade for a living, if you want to be a lawyer, obviously you got to be able to read the law books, right? Same with a trader. If you're going to trade, you need to be able to read the chart. Now, 340 weeks of Logic 247, but long before that, we had our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. They're different. The logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock. Futures trade around the clock. We got traders around the globe. So our day session is their night session and vice versa. Each logic alert has an entry price, an initial target, additional targets, and a final trade to target. The concierge trade alerts are, as I said, different. This was our original alert service. Okay. Now, if you're a member or trial member, be sure to read this information. It is important. If you have questions, be sure to ask. Last night, the CTAs came out a little later than normal, 7:40 p.m., which was 5:40 p.m. my time. I try to get them out 5 minutes ahead of the open when I can. Last night, wasn't able to. So, at 7:40 p.m. last night, that's 1 hour and 40 minutes after the market opened, all of our members and trial members had every one of these targets. The S&P, the Dow, the Russell, crude oil, the NQ, gold, and silver. So let's go take a look at the charts. We'll start with the daily chart of the S&P, where we always do. So, yesterday we managed to close above red and falling. Now, today we've already traveled. This is Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Okay. Remember, we had that gap lower open Sunday night. That's what you're seeing here. And then we raced up. And we've been fighting red and falling now for 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Red and falling represents resistance. If we can overcome the high of the last, looks like the last 3 days had a very similar high, 1696, 1698, 1698. This one was 1698.75. Okay, so today our high is 1698. Our low is way down here at 60.20. It's a lot of movement in one day. How we close today, just like I said yesterday, will be very important. If we're going to get a deeper retracement, we got to get a close below the BBC. The green line is called the BBC. It stands for bull bear cross. When price crosses above it, we're bullish and expect higher prices. When price crosses below it, we're bearish and expect lower prices. Higher prices, lower prices. But it's important to note that it's where we close for the session. So today we could close with a red candle and still be above the BBC. But if institutional traders are not comfortable carrying this position home overnight, we could see our first close below the BBC. Since this whole thing started going way back to January 27th. Now the daily chart's important no matter what you trade, whether it's futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETFs. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. But institutional traders, because of their account size, they look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. So whatever you trade, I encourage you to spend 2 minutes with the daily chart before you drop to the smaller time frame to start trading, just to get, number one, an idea of what the deep pockets are doing. And as we can see right now, I mean, they bought this thing all the way back up, but it's starting to slide. Okay, but you're also able to identify major areas of potential resistance, like this and this and this, that you can't see on your smaller time frame. Okay, support. We got potential support at the low of today, the low of Monday, and then back here on the 4th, 3rd. Okay, again, by looking at the daily chart for a couple minutes, number one, you're seeing what the deep pockets who move price are up to, and you're identifying major areas of support and resistance that you can't see on the smaller time frames. Now the 30-minute chart is for all alerts are created. The vertical line separates today, Wednesday, from Tuesday. Back here is Monday. It's been a pretty flat, quiet week, with the exception of this one move that came off the news this morning at 8:30. And again, we've got big news, high impact news tomorrow and Friday. The horizontal lines are the weekly trading zones. They're published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. We've published them every week for our members for the last 15 years as of December. Feels like we're close to December again already. time flies, man. This coming December will make 16 years. When price rallies up to a weekly trading zone, we expect resistance until proven otherwise. We saw it Monday, we saw it Tuesday. When price drops to a weekly trading zone, we expect support until proven otherwise, which we saw Monday, yesterday. Looked like we were going to drop, and then we didn't. And notice that this candle, the wick on it, it's still touching the zone. So it never really pulled away. Now the pullback to the VVC holds more often than it doesn't. So we got a leg up yesterday and a retracement. We spiked the BBC, but the pullback held and we continued. That's a trend, leg, retracement, leg. So off the open last night, we had blue and climbing overhead. Now when blue and climbing gets directly above price, that can become potential resistance. We normally think of blue and climbing as bullish, red and falling as bearish. But when red and falling gets directly below price, it can become support. So we traded in a very tight range through the night. There's London. We had a pretty sizable move at 4 a.m. Eastern. And then we headed right up to that weekly trading zone that was resistance Monday, yesterday, now again today. And then that news took us across 2 zones. And we found support at 60.22/23. Again, these are the zones that were published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. From there, we bounced all the way back up to the BBC. That pullback held and it sent us down to this area. Now we've gotten above the BBC. But watch this area right here. You see where the red line gets below the green line? Kind of like right where we're at right now. It's called a bearish cross. When you have a bearish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area, as it just did on the previous 30-minute candle, you should expect resistance. Now this next candle may take it out, but a bullish cross or bearish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area, will almost always be good support or resistance. And if it's a bearish cross, then you're expecting resistance. And we got it right at that spot. Okay. And so there was enough movement to get your goal for the day, obviously. We don't trade news events. I don't. And so now we're sitting above this short target with resistance right overhead. If we can break through this area, I'd want to see us get up to like 60, 90. And then we could have a nice 6-point run up to the zone. 60.96/97. See, we're attempting now to take out. It's the first time up. But as it backs up and makes another run, it very well may make it through there. Okay. Now another important area up here is at the step line. See where the step line crossed? Okay. So again, look for some potential resistance up around 60.84. That's another obstacle that the market needs to overcome. But from zone to zone to zone to zone, down 2 zones, we're poised to make a run back up to the resistance we've had all week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. On the Dow, here's where we opened last night with blue and climbing overhead. Potential resistance. On its potential resistance because it's probably on its way to becoming red and falling. And it took us down to the BBC. We consolidated there for a few hours overnight. And then we got a drop. Took us to this area right here. See how the step line made that little move to the right side? Okay. Now, when the step line crosses blue and climbing, we typically get a retracement back to the BBC, but we did not there. It got its way kind of like right on top, and then it crossed again, and that did give us our pullback to the BBC. And while the pullback holds more often than not, eventually it will trade through, as it did here. Then we got a retracement, then we got the news that took us all the way down to the zone, and we bounced and bounced and bounced and bounced. In fact, we bounced all the way up to here, and then we got another drop all the way to the zone. And from that zone, which we expect to be support, and it was multiple times, we're now about to hit this zone overhead, which we expect to be resistance until proven otherwise. The high of this candle so far is 554, and the zone's at 560, so we're practically there. So what happens here will be important. If we get above the zone, keep in mind you've got that same dynamic over here with the bearish cross and also the step line crossing. Okay, so if you're going to trade this area, you get in, get your points, and get out. Or wait for price to get up into this area. And here, 55 up to 75, that would be sufficient to get you your goal for the day. The Russell. Now back, either yesterday, I think it might have been yesterday, we said we had to look all the way back to Monday to find a clear spot for a short. And it came. Didn't expect it to come in this manner. I mean, look at the size of this candle. I mean, wow. That news really rocked the world. Buyers came in, took us back up to the zone where we consolidated. Only three things happen when price hits a weekly zone. 70% of the times consolidation, 20% of the times rejection, 10% of the times the slice. So we're pulling up to the BBC. Question, will the pullback hold? Notice that red and falling is starting to curl as if it's about to turn to blue and climbing. If it does, then there's a good chance this will be where we trade through the BBC. On the NQ. Now we also drew this going back to Friday, and we've not got up into that area yet, but it still remains a valid window of opportunity if price can get up there. This is where we opened last night, bounced off the BBC, hit the zone overhead, support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, back to support. Blue and climbing turned to red and falling, and we traded below the BBC. Now this low here, as you can see, that was a low from yesterday afternoon. So you're always looking left. If the market found support at that price, important area yesterday, why not today? And it did. Sent us up to the BBC. Didn't quite make it to the zone. And we did drop. We did hit the short target. Now we're just consolidating at the BBC. It's really all kind of a mess. Okay? Not normal market conditions by far. Crude took it on the chin today. Here's where we opened last night with red and falling overhead. And so we got a leg and a retracement and a leg and a retracement and a leg and a retracement. See how when red and falling gets below price, it begins to act as support? And just when it was turning to blue and climbing, the bottom fell out right ahead of the London Open. It took us down to the short target. We stayed there for an hour, and then we got a big leg and a retracement. See how the step line crossed? The black step line crosses red and falling. We expect a retracement to the BBC. But the pressure to the south was strong, was so strong that we didn't pull all the way back to the BBC. See, sometimes you'll pull back to it and spike above it and close back below it. But when you can't even get to it, that's definitely a sign of weakness. And it has now sent us all the way down. Now remember, yesterday we were above the highest weekly trading zone on a Tuesday. And we talked about this. What we've learned over the last 15 years is that if we hit the highest or lowest weekly trading zone by Tuesday morning, this was 8 a.m. That's morning. Okay. There's an extremely high probability that by the end of the week we'll be at the other end of the spectrum. That means we got a long way to fall. No guarantee that we'll go all the way to the low, but anytime price hits the highest or lowest weekly zone on a Tuesday morning, look for price to reverse and travel in the opposite direction. So this is really a great example of that. Now, buyers came in here. We ran up, we ran back down. We hit red and falling, we spiked it. Now that's potential resistance. And notice how the step line has now crossed back. So you crossed for the retracement, but now it's crossed back, and that supports lower prices with the step line on the left side of red and falling. So I would not be surprised if we hit this weekly zone 7135/40 maybe by the end of the day, possibly by the end of this broadcast. Gold opened here. We had a bearish cross up here. And as you can see, when price ran into that bearish cross, it stumbled a little bit, but it managed to keep going. In fact, it just barely took out this high from yesterday afternoon. But back here at the open, we dropped to the zone. Okay. We traded through the target, and then we retraced back to the BBC. So we had a leg and a retracement and a leg. We found support at the weekly zone, which is 2909/2910. Support sent us to resistance at the BBC, which sent us back to support here briefly. And then the news had an opposite reaction with gold. It sent gold higher, back up to the zone, consolidation, and then we get a leg here that takes us just above that high. And the step line starting to lean right. So when I come back, we'll talk about silver, which is moving up pretty substantially today. But right now, Michael's going to give us a recap of everything that happened this morning in the live training room.
And
and then we'll do some live trading on the TradingView platform. Then I'll come back, we'll look at silver, and wrap things up with our good word for the day.
Excellent. Here we go.
Looks good.
Great. All right, everyone. Good afternoon. Today is Wednesday, the 12th day of February 2025. 12th day of February 2025. So today, let's bring this up. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com and click on the purple button right here. When you click on that, there's no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that. It's going to bring you to this registration page. On the registration page, all that we ask for is your name, your email. Down here at the bottom, gives your phone number, or what we really want, like gives your phone number, gives you TradingView login. We really want your TradingView login ID, okay? Because then we can enable the indicators that you are going to need on TradingView. All right, that's what we really want to get from you. So that said, that's all we need. All right. Today we had a pretty good day. It ended up, it was really slow. It was slow getting to where we wanted to get. I wanted to get to $1,000 a contract today. And it was pretty slow. The last half hour really is where I guess the last hour, we bumped it up. We're at like 300 to 500 for the first hour. And then in the last hour, we added like another 700 to it all, 750. But if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you got to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. You end up with just 46 ticks on the NQ, 14 ticks on the Russell, 41 ticks on the gold, and 44 ticks on the ES. Put us at 1260 with one contract this morning. Today it took 26 minutes and 9 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $1,075, and we took a total of 35 trades this morning. All right, so on the month now, we're at $7,025. That's over 6 business days, averaging $1,170 per contract per 2-hour business day. 7,025. Why does that not seem right? 4827 R4827 divided by R4828. All right, well, whatever. 70. I guess it's the 1170 times 6. That's what's throwing me off. $1,170 per contract per 2-hour business day. So on the year, now we're at $39,202 with one contract over 26 business days, averaging $1,507 per contract per 2-hour business day. Now, the trading was a little harder to do today and yesterday for some reason. These last couple of days, it was a little tougher getting the goal for the day. You can see this was the first time. Well, I guess was this Monday? Yeah, I guess Monday we got over $1,000. But we had a rough time yesterday. I don't know why. Today we even started out with 2 stop outs. But let's just get into this. The 24/20 blueprint. If you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day, and you were to add one contract per month, that means one contract for every $2,000 in profit that you earn. So far this year, you would have earned, if you did it just like me in the morning, you would have earned $5,645. That's a gross, not a net number. It would have been over 4.58 hours, so 4.5 hours for $5,645. And you would have averaged $1,231 per hour. Now, the total number of trades, that's a lot of trades. It would take 101 trades. So if you take out the commission in there, let's just say your commission's $3, you subtract $300 from that. So you'd still be up $5,300. Not too bad. All right, so let's go and look at what we did. All right. So gold was the big winner again today. Well, it wasn't the big winner, was it? Well, money-wise, the ES was the big winner. Tick-wise, the NQ was a big winner, but gold was one of the leading ones most of the day. It wasn't until the end that the other ones overcame it. This was a mistake on my part. I shouldn't have had that stop out right there. But this is how we started the day. Well, first we had a stop out on the ES, then we had a stop out on gold. So we're at minus 15 right there, right? Yeah, minus 15. Then we had a 20 tick win there that got us to +5, then a break even and another break even. And then here we had a 10 tick win that got us to 15, then a 5 that got us to 20, then another 12 that got us to 32. Then we had the stop out. I shouldn't have stopped out on. I shouldn't have even taken because it already gone into profit. but I stopped out on that. And so it was minus 15, got us back down to 17. Then went to 19 and 21. And from 21, we went to 26. And 26, we went to 31. And from 31, we went to 34. No, 41. Sorry, 41. So that was the last trade that we did this morning. And during the break, let's just see here. During the break, there was a short trade right here that would have stopped you out. There was a long trade here that you would have gotten right back on. There was a short trade right here that if you would have shorted the open of that bar right there, it would have stopped you out. A long trade right here that would have gotten it back. A short trade right here would have gotten it back again. A short trade right there would have gotten it back again. A short trade right there. Now you're just talking in profit, 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 profit. This one right here looks like it would have stopped you out. You would have gone long on the open of that bar. No, it would have been a break even. Going long on the open of that bar would have been a break even. This would have been profit on that one. And this one right here, that would have been a break even trade. It would have gone long on this. It went 9 in profit. It would have just stopped to break even. Then it came back down. Following the rules, that's how it should have gone for you. Okay. Now, let's see. We had we're on the Russell right now. I'm just looking. This is the whole day on the Russell. Okay, so we started out with a break even right here on the Russell. Then we had a +2 right there. Then a 10 that got us to 12. Then a 17 that got us to 29. That's a weird number. 17 that got us to 29. Then we stopped out. That put us back down to 4 because it was a 25 tick stop out. And then we had a +10 over here. That got us to 14. Okay. Since then, it looks like there was another nice win right there. Looks like right in here, you would have been, that right there would have been a win because you would have sold the open of that bar and it ran 20 ticks down before it came back up. So that would have been some kind of a win. And that was all that it had today. Not a lot going on with the Russell during the break. All right, now the ES, let's see on the ES. Okay, here we go on the ES. Now, our very first trade of the day was this one, and we stopped out on it on the ES. Again, I shouldn't have done that trade. That's why it's orange, but I stopped out on it, and so we were -10. Then we had to get back from that. I was doing a whole bunch of drawing in here about what had happened at this point right over here in time. This drawing right here is what happened right here in real time with the price. Okay, but our next trade on the ES, we picked up 1 tick that got us to -9, then 1 more tick that got us to -8. Then we had a break even. Then we had a +10. I'm sorry, +8 that got us to 0. Then a +12 that got us to 12. Then a +12 again that got us to 24. Then a +6 that got us to 30. Then a +5 that got us to 35. Then a break even and a +8 that got us to 43. And a +1 that got us to 44. Okay. And 1 more break even in here. Now during the break, let's see here, during the break. There was a long trade right here. That would have been a break even or profit. There was a short trade right here. That would have been profit. A short trade right here would have been profit. Sliding all the way over here, a short trade right there, profit. A short trade right here on this bar, that would have been profit. A long trade on this bar, profit. A long trade on this bar, possible break even. It didn't go down far enough to stop you out right through here, right? Not on a 7 range. If you had in the right spot, it might have been a break even right there or way over here. Okay, in that whole process, there was another short there. If you missed that, you could have taken that and made a profit. Another short there that was profitable. Another short there that was profitable. Another short here. You would have shorted on this bar right here. Now it went against it a little bit, but then it ended up going down nicely. You had a long in the middle of all that on this bar. That would have stopped you out. Okay, if you weren't short there and you went long there, you would have stopped out on the long. You probably wouldn't have taken that because you'd already been short. This would have been a short right here. I had to go 4 ticks into profit from the entry. It looks like it probably just did that. Do this so you can see it a little better. We're talking about this one right here. So the entry was 73.75 and it went up to 74.75. Maybe you would have gotten a break even, probably stopped out. Right, definite stop out on that one, and definite profit on that one, and that one. And you'd be in it right now for a short. I'm going to try to put it on right now because it's not too late. There, okay, I just did. It is kind of late, but the spot I should have shorted at was right up here. The open of this bar right up here at 78.25. You see I'm in at 77.50. I'm going to bump my stop to break even because I can, because I have a total horrible fill. All right, so I took 1 tick profit on that. But you see what the trade was, right? It was the open of this bar right here. 78.50 is what I should have shorted. Right now, if this gets into the oversold, if we get a down close and that goes into the oversold by itself, I don't think it will be by itself. But if it does go into the oversold by itself, then we'll buy the open of the next bar. Okay, that is my plan. All right, let me move this down like that. And that was what we did on the ES today. All right, we ended up with plus 44 on the ES. Now, on the NQ, we didn't have a ton of trades on the NQ. Okay, we never. I mean, the most trades that we had were on the ES and gold. The NQ and the Russell had the same number of trades. You can see them all right in here. All right, on the NQ, this is our first trade on the NQ. We picked up 4 ticks, then we picked up 12 to get us to 16. Then we had a break even, and then we picked up 20 to get us to 36, and then 10 to get us to 46. And I'm pretty sure that should be a blue one right there, and I didn't write down what the gain was, so I'll just call it a yellow one instead, but I'm pretty sure no, it's probably supposed to be yellow. All right, so we had a yellow and another yellow, so 2 more break-even trades in there, and that was it for us on the NQ today. There weren't a ton of trades on the NQ. See, during the break, even during the break, there was one more right here, a long trade right there that would have been good, and a long trade that just triggered right in here on this bar. That would have been an okay trade. And that was it for the NQ today. Okay. All right. So that's what we had going on today. Now, let's go back here to the spreadsheet really quick one more time. Plus 46 on the NQ, plus 14 on the Russell, plus 41 on gold, and plus 44 on the ES. Which is at $1,260 per contract on the morning session. Today it took 26 minutes and 9 trades to get to $1,075 with 10 contracts on. And we traded a total of 35 trades this morning. On the month now, we're at $7,025 over 6 business days, averaging $1,170 per contract per morning session. On the year, we're at $39,202 over 26 business days, averaging $1,507 per contract per morning session. And over here, the 24/20 blueprint stuff, 4.5 hours work so far this year, $5,600 gained so far this year. Okay. All right. Now let's see. We have nothing there, nothing there. We kind of had something here. It just barely nicked it. It looks like down here on the bottom. If we spread that way out, no, it didn't. Look at that. It didn't hit it at all. You spread it way out. It didn't hit it at all. So there's no trade there. I don't see any questions in here, but if anybody does have any questions, all you need to do is shout it out. I'll be happy to answer your questions. All right. Let me see in here if I had anything extra on here. All right. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. So we just wait now. All right. The markets are really slow right now, so it's possible we may end up waiting a little while here. We don't have anything happening here. We don't have anything here, here or here. Okay. I still don't see any questions, so it'll be a pretty quiet 15 minutes here. I guess I could drop the NQ down to a smaller time frame, and maybe we'll get some trades out of it on a smaller time frame. I got to adjust my bracket for that. Let me go to the NQ. Hang on. NQ, attach window to chart, and change bracket to this one. Okay, and unattach it from the chart. There. Okay. Oops. That brought the quantity back to 1. Hang on. What's the yellow line on the chart? Jay, the yellow line on the chart is the YBR that was brought back from like 2010. It's to give you an idea of what the trend is. If you're above the YBR and you want to take trend trades, Jay, then what you would do is, let's just, we'll do it the NQ since I just bumped the NQ down to 31 range. If you wanted to just trade trend trades, do what we're doing just with the trend. If you're above the YBR, when the trigger comes out of the oversold, you can do it 2 ways. When you're trading with the trend, you can do it 2 ways. One, to go after the confirmation that it goes back in the direction of the trend, or just to go in the direction of the trend before the confirmation to trust the trigger. All right. One is when it goes into the oversold like this, buy the open of the next bar. Another is to wait till it comes out of the oversold and then buy the open of the bar after that. You can see it's usually going to be a full bar difference, and a full bar, well, a full bar is the goal for the day most of the time. But yeah, when you get flat spots like that, it's, you're gonna have to suck it up. If you wait for it to come out of it, then that, you won't have any flat spots if you wait for it to come out of it, but then you might get this right here, where you came out of it right there at the very top, went 2 ticks before it pulled all the way back down here, and then it moved up. So if you want to trade with the trend, then above the YBR, you're looking for long trades only. Below the YBR, you're looking for short trades only. Above the YBR, long trades only. Below the YBR, short trades only. That's what it is. Now, the colors in here don't really apply to anything in here yet. And at some point, I'm going to put the colors, I'm going to make the colors in here identify when you're in chop and when you're not in chop, when you're trending. I'm going to make the color on the YBR identify that. I'm trying to find the exact right formula to make it do that, because you can switch tactics pretty easily between this one and this one. Like if you're in this right here, the divergence trades don't work out as well. But when you're in chop like this, that's when the divergence trades shine. Okay. That's why we have the YBR in there. There's a long trade right here on the ES. It was from right here at the open of this bar on the ES, where that went into the oversold by itself. Okay. The open of that bar was right there at 77.0. A minute 76.75. So I got a little better entry on that. And after 4 ticks in profit, I will hit this move stop to break even button. The yellow has to get up here to 77.75. Okay. And nothing over there on the YM. I mean, nothing over there on the NQ yet. Okay. We have a 10 tick stop on this. That is 10 ticks away from that right there. And over there on gold, there's a short going on over there on gold too. The blue led into the overbought right there. The entry point on gold should have been here at 30.2. 30.2. Okay. Those are the only things we have going on right here right now. All right, now the NQ's got one. See, the NQ led into the oversold there. The S is starting to come around. That's going to get up to right there to bump that stop. Yeah, I'll put that back on. Let me focus on this for a second. All right. I got stuff going on all over the place. This needs to go to break even. This one's not a break even yet. And the NQ needs to be a break even. Okay. And I just got out of the NQ. Sorry, I didn't bring the NQ over and show you, but I did go to break even. My bracket was screwed up on the NQ. When I switched the brackets, it switched it to the wrong number. So on the gold, we're going to lock in 10 ticks profit. That's $1,000 right there on the gold. We're about to stop out on the S. We stopped out on the S and we made 10 ticks profit on the gold. So overall, it was just about a wash. We got to break even on the NQ. All right, so we got to break even on this one now. With the NQ, after it goes 4 points into profit, it's going to go 20 ticks or 4 points into profit. I'm sorry, 16 ticks into profit, 4 points. Move the stop to break even. So I got to break even over there on the NQ. I got to stop out here on the ES, and I got a plus 10 over here on the gold. Okay, and those trades that I just took. So overall, it's kind of a wash. I mean, it was minus 2 ticks overall, minus 2 ES ticks overall is what it is. Now, and 3 commissions. But if we get an up close over here on the NQ right now, we'll be looking to short this. We're in some pretty nice chop right here on the NQ. Nice ranging chop. That's what we like to see. And nothing over here on the gold right now, and nothing here on the Russell right now. Okay. All right, so now we wait just a few minutes. I gotta fix that thing on the NQ again. It says, oh, it's 15 by 25. Okay. Well, why don't I set that to the right thing? It should be a 36 stop and a 48 target. Okay. Fixed. It said one thing, but it did another thing. All right, guys, it's 1:23. Now, if you haven't taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. There is no credit card required for the trial. You click on that purple button, it's going to bring you to this registration page. On this page, all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Okay, your name, your email, and your phone number. Down here at the bottom, if you have Ninja Trader, give us your Ninja Trader machine ID. If you want to use Ninja Charts, right? If you're not going to use Ninja Charts, we don't need that. If you're going to take the trial, you're going to want to get charts, right? And we only have our stuff that you're looking at right here is only available on TradingView. So make sure you give us your TradingView login ID. If you don't have TradingView, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on trading platforms, and it's right here. All right, watch this video right here. Click on this link right here, and go to monthly, and the essentials probably all you need. Plus, we'll give you 4 charts. It'll give you 10 indicators per chart. It'll give you 4 charts. It will give you 100 price alerts and 100 technical alerts. The technical alerts are the ones that trigger from our stuff. You can have the price alerts. Price alerts are good too. But anyway, I won't get into that. I won't go down that road. But you need to get this. You need to get real-time data. Okay, those are the things that you need if you're going to take the trial. All right, so we have nothing here because the blue and the black went together. We do have some nice chop, but the blue and the black went together, so we're not doing anything with that. We're not trending really anywhere right now. So we wait for the trade setups. We don't have anything here. We don't have anything here. We don't have anything there. Okay. All right. Nothing. We'll go look at other places and see what's going on. Bitcoin. Hey, Bitcoin's green now. It was completely flat earlier. It was right here. But now it looks like it's getting a little bit bullish. It seems like we've lost all momentum, any momentum that we had with the crypto stuff coming into the election and through the beginning of the election. And my XRP is not really doing anything either. A bunch of flat days right there. Let's go all the way back here right now on this. All right, so we're gonna wait right here, right now. And if we get a down close over here on the gold, we'll probably have a trade. We can go long. That's pretty much it, though. That's pretty much it. And nothing else right now. Does anybody have any questions? Nothing there. All right, now we have a long here on the yes. Okay. I'm not filled. I'm still not filled. It went too far into profit for me to get filled on it. It bumped up 4 ticks and then it came right back down. All right, now it looks like it might give us a short. So what we just had here was a move down. We got a leg up, a retracement leg up. We don't have an opportunity to enter that. Not really anything you can do here either on this. The black went with the blue right there on the NQ. I mean, you can take a chance and short it if you want to right in there. But the black did go with the blue up into the overbought. In hindsight, it'll look like, I don't know, it'll look like this in hindsight. This one right here. Right there. Okay. This one over here, it'll look a lot like that one right there in hindsight. So it's up to you. The ES is about to give another long trade right here, right? And that was kind of a weird retracement that it did right there. It's more than 50% of the leg up. I mean, of the leg down. It's in a strange spot right here. And it's now 129. We have 10 seconds left. Well, I'm sorry, 10 seconds, 50 seconds left. It was 129.10. We had 50 seconds left. 5-0. We might get a trade here on the Russell.
All price movement's been kind of wonky today.
It has. It's been the last 2 days. Yeah, the last 2 days especially. It's been just off. But just trade what's in front of you. Follow the rules. Follow the rules. That's it. Nothing here. And it is time, guys. We almost have a long trade here. We almost have a long trade here. We almost have a short trade here. But it is time to wrap it up for the morning session. I have other meetings coming up. So let me go back here and show you one more time. On the morning session, we're up 46 on the NQ, 14 on the Russell, 41 on gold, and 44 on the ES. Now in this session, we made 10 more on gold. That put us at 51. We stopped out on the ES. That put us at 34. And we had a break even on the NQ. So it was kind of a wash overall. Today it took 26 minutes and 9 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, with 10 contracts on, we're at $1,075. We made 35 trades this morning. I counted those last 3. On the month, we're at $7,025, averaging $1,170 per day in the morning session. On the year, we're at $39,202, averaging $1,507 per contract per morning session. Okay. If you've not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on the purple button. It's going to bring you to the registration page. Just fill it out. That is it. With that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. There we are.
Okay, recap of the morning session.
Today it took 26 minutes and 9 trades to get to $1,075. 10 contracts.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. We left off with silver, and that is our last one. This is where we opened last night, and we just consolidated side. The market can't make up its mind. It's down. It's below the BBC. It's above the BBC. We did reach up and hit the long target. It only takes 2 pennies to get your goal for the day in silver. And then just wide-ranging consolidation, just 30-minute choppiness. And then we did drop down to the short target twice. On the second one, we dropped all the way to the zone, which is 3192/93. That sent us back up above the BBC. This is that 8:30 news where all the other markets went down, but crude and gold went up. And once we sliced through this zone, we retraced back to the zone and then continued in the direction of the slice. The step line has now crossed blue and climbing, so we anticipate a retracement back to the BBC. The pullback holds more often than it doesn't. But again, last couple days, price flow has not been normal. So, we'll see what happens. The big question is, where is this guy close today? Above or below the BBC? We've had a wide range day because of that news, and we got big high impact news tomorrow and Friday, both I believe. To become a member, send an email to support@cfrn.net. In the subject line, just put, "I'm ready to become a member." In the body of the email, put your name, your phone number. We'll send you an email that explains what it means to be a passport holder, and there'll be a link you can click to become a passport holder. Out of the gate, you're going to get 2 hours of live training every trading day. Something 9 out of 10 new traders don't have. In fact, that's the reason they fail, because they don't have anyone to teach them how to do the job. So we plug that hole. 2 hours every trading day. It's an interactive environment where you're asking questions, trading along. Okay. But you also have access to private one-on-one mentoring. The strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder, are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, it doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. As a passport holder, you'll get the Logic 247 alerts around the clock, the Concierge Trade alerts the second they're published each evening. Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern, you get the weekly trading zones. And again, once those are published Monday morning, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They do not change in any way whatsoever. And you're able to attend the members only workshop every Thursday night. It's everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. And you get the golden key that opens all the private channels in Telegram. Let's wrap it up with our good word for the day. Yesterday we talked about fulfilling God's plan for your life. Today, hold fast. Hebrews 10:23. Let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. Hebrews 10:23. You'll notice that during the creation process, God counts days based on the previous nights. The Bible doesn't say the morning and evening were the first day. It says God called the evening and the morning the first day. That's in Genesis 1:5. That means God specializes in bringing light out of darkness. You just have to get through one to get to the other. God told Moses that the angel of death would come at night, and wherever he saw the blood of the lamb on the doorposts, the inhabitants of that house would be saved. Exodus 12:12. Exodus states that God sent a wind that blew all night until there was dry land, and the Israelites walked through. Exodus 14:21. The psalmist wrote in Psalm 30, verse 5, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." The dawn is all the more brilliant because of the darkness that preceded it. Just as your progress is all the more rewarding when set against a backdrop of pain, gain, and breakthrough. Great mornings come by getting through rough nights. When you see somebody who is having a great day, chances are you're looking at somebody who has been through a long night. When you hear them shouting the victory, it may be because they have spent the night praying and weeping before God. The Bible says in Hebrews 10:23, "Let us hold tightly without wavering to the hope we affirm, for God can be trusted to keep his promise." Trusting God is more than just wishful thinking. It's knowing that if he said it, he'll do it. It's realizing he doesn't just control creation, he controls your circumstances. So, hold fast. And that's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.